I guess just to kind of talk about the senior day here, you guys playing your last regular season game here. I mean, what does it mean to both of you guys the season that you've been able to have too?
All right. I've been really reflective over the last few weeks, just knowing that like it's my last few games of like collegiate football. It means a lot, not only that it's just like my last few games, but like being able to come here and be a part of this culture and this community has also been really important to me. They've welcomed me with open arms, not only the team but the community around the team itself, and it'll be not necessarily too emotional of a day, but be a really exciting day.
I feel like a dinosaur because I feel like I've seen so many changes since I've been here. I feel like that's just a blessing to even get to this point. That's all I can really call it. It was really hard a lot of times. I feel like a lot of times I really didn't even know if I'd make it all the way through, if I'd play, like want to keep playing. It was many nights of calling my mom and her saying, "No, shut up. You knew you were up there for a reason. You know you got something bigger going than yourself." So just her believing in me was huge, and my family, and just my trust in God. So just thankful to be here.
Tyren, take me back to the moment you stepped on campus. Like, what do you remember from that day?
It was probably a lot different from where I was from. Everybody was like really just so nice, and I thought that was nice. I'm used to the Southern hospitality, but it was like a different kind of nice. Like you could, say have a blessed day, and it's kind of like you as well. Like I'm glad you're here. Like they'll say something like extra nice. So I just thought that environment I was in was truly special.
And Tyren, for you, I mean, you've been here your entire career, and that's not something that's very common these days. It's so easy to hit the portal, especially going through coaching changes and things like that. Looking back on it, being patient to wait for your time, and now you're kind of having if you want to call it a breakout year this year. But are you glad and thankful that you stayed through? Were there any moments that you kind of thought about, would it be better for me to look elsewhere?
Of course. I feel like everybody has those selfish, not necessarily, but they are. Like if you're thinking necessarily like what's best for you. And I don't knock any guys because, you look at this guy. He's helping our team. I don't knock any guys for taking the transfer portal. It was just like that's just what my parents always instilled in me. Like if you started somewhere, try to finish that story. And I called my mom many times, like I told you guys, like I don't know if I want to be up here anymore. And she was like, no. She was like, we prayed about this. She was like, just trust it. And she was like, it may not be, what you're looking for. She was like, but she was like, it'll be what God, instilled and has already written for you. So, thank you.
And X, for you, you transferred in under the previous staff, but decided to stick it through with Coach Chadwell and Coach Durkin and the rest of them. Coach talks a lot about buy-in, having the buy-in, and how important that is, especially for a guy like you, being a captain and a senior leader. Could you just talk about why it was so important for you to buy in, and why did you buy into this staff?
Yeah, the first part of that is actually part of the reason why I transferred, which was to get my degree. So I came here, and the program that I'm in is a 2-year program. So that was already the plan, was to wherever I was going to be at was going to be the place where I graduated from to get my degree, because transferring credits and having to make sure that your classes apply in different places is a whirlwind of a process, and I don't want to have to try to go through that again. The other part of that is that I knew I wasn't making a decision based on just a year-to-year thing. It was never about, okay, if this coach stays, then I'll stay, but if he doesn't, I'll leave. It was, I'm going someplace, because of the same thing that Tyren said. It was like, I've never been a big just jump the boat kind of person. I did that from my last institution, but that was just because it was what was best for me academically. So when the new staff came in, it was never the idea of like, all right, I'm going to leave, or maybe I'll see what the portal looks like and I can come back. It was, all right, Coach Chadwell's here. What do you need from me to help the guys transition? Coach Scott, what do you need from me? Coach Durkin, what do you need from me? Like, how can I get everybody else to be on board and hit the ground running with as fast as possible so that we could do what we are now setting out to do, which was get ourselves to a conference championship game.
X, you, Jonathan, and Jordan have been in on 96% of every snap this year played. That continuity, how much does that help with being the number 1 rushing team in the country?
It's huge because we have learned to trust each other and understand that we all know that where we will be and where we are supposed to be is where the other guy is going to be. Like Jordan knows that I see things on this right side that he may not see. I know that he sees things that I don't. It's the same thing with John Graham. Like it's and part of that is just having two guys who have played 6 years of football in college. It's like there's a level of experience that comes with that is huge. And Jordan's played good football too. I mean, transferring from a Big 12 program, he's seen some really good ball. So I think we've grown closer off the field for sure. We've grown closer on the field, just working with each other, and that chemistry that we've been able to work on in practice has been really important to that.
What is it that Coach Dirk in it has really maybe, what has hit a nerve with you guys to kind of take your play to that next level? I mean, talk about, you returned from last year, but a lot of new starters, a lot of new guys, a lot of transfers that came in. How's this unit been so good in this first year with this new staff?
It's just the work that we put in from week to week. It's not anything special. I mean, I say it's special just because it's us. Like we're a special group, but the work that we put in every single practice is what prepares us to be able to perform. And you just can't get away from that. There's no secret recipe. There's no shortcut. Like it's just you got to go out every single day and prepare like you want to be the highest rushing group in the country. And I feel like we've done that. And now the task is just to continue to do that because it's easy to get there, but it's harder to stay up there.
What areas have you guys grown the most since playing here at Liberty?
I would say specifically being chosen as the captain is a leadership role because I always just wanted to lead maybe by example. Like I never really wanted to be like the vocal guy who has to like yell at somebody or like get on to somebody. I mean, I understand like, encouraging them or something like that, but actually checking people and holding them accountable. That was a little different for me this year, just trying to like separate from like knowing what you have to do instead of like, oh, like you want to get like popularity, likes or stuff like that. So just knowing like to put the team over yourself and selfish thoughts like that is probably what I grew in most of.
Same thing, honestly. That's been one of the things that I feel like I've had to grow in a lot over my football career, period. It's just finding the best way to lead, and I've found out a lot that like without the relationship that you have with other guys, you really can't lead them. Mm-hmm. Like you can't try to point them in the direction of their best interests if you don't really know what those best interests are or know how they operate, how they tick, and how they respond to certain things. So like just like Tyren said, you could be the guy who's a yeller and just tries to get out and like get on everybody's case. And I was that guy for a while, and it really doesn't work with some people. Some people it does, and you just have to find out which people that like who those guys are, and then be able to like see what they respond to in order to best help them.
For both you guys, for where you are in the season at 10-0, and Coach talked about practice last week and how that showed up. Having a good practice showed up in the game. Does that make it a little easier, with a couple weeks left to look at, hey, here's where we are in the season. We're so close, like giving you the motivation and the whatever to come out every day and practice and then, play well on Saturday as well?
That does play a part in it, but Coach Chadwell does such a great job at making sure all of our guys keep our head down. And I know, like, we obviously know we have, like, games like that coming up, like the championship and trying to finish out a perfect season, but we just try to take it 1 week at a time and be 1-0 against ourselves. Try not to beat ourselves. Try to have a perfect game. Yeah,
the motivation comes from having our best game, and you have a chance to do that every single week. So it's not like you're trying to. Everybody wants to go undefeated, but if you're playing to try to preserve a perfect season, then you're not playing for the right thing. Like you're playing to see how good can you be on any given week, because if you can be the best that you can, and I feel like we have practiced that way, and we're starting to show that week in and week out, then you're going to be a tough team to beat. And I feel like that's what we've shown so far in the season, and now the task is, like I said earlier, just trying to do that over and over, week in, week out. It's just